As you watch this video, I want you to think of all of the ways that today's fake sports betting guru is similar to all of the previous guys I've covered. Flashy lifestyle, expensive and lavish living, gambling tickets showing he wins $100,000 bets, and expensive sports cars. One thing all of these guys have in common is they are out to prove how great they are at sports betting on social media. Flashy sports gambler caught in $9.6 million fraud gets more than 2 years in prison. This is Rob Gorodetsky, and he has a problem. See, Rob here wanted to live a social media influencer lifestyle without earning it. His decisions led to prison time. The reason why I'm making this video is because I've discussed the sports betting gurus while they're scheming their customers. Rob has already been charged, so we're getting to peel back the curtain on his fraudulent lifestyle completely. I want you to see if you can spot the corollaries between the current crop of sports betting gurus and Rob. On December 26, 2017, USA Today released a feature article on Rob titled, "Is This the Future Face of Sports Gambling?" A fat Jewish kid from Chicago, by his own account, Robert Gorodetsky is also a 25-year-old college dropout who has emerged as one of the most compelling and controversial, albeit largely unknown, figures in sports. Tell me if you've heard this story before. A guru that specializes in helping clients make money just shows up out of nowhere with no one legitimate able to verify if he's real or not. Sitting courtside at NBA games and behind home plate at Major League Baseball games, canoodling with beautiful women, including a former Miss Utah and a former Miss California, sharing photos of himself with famous athletes and celebrities, using gut instinct to bet upwards of $100,000 on games, winning and losing millions of dollars in what he calls Big Rob style. Let me give you a little secret. A sports gambler using their gut instinct to win millions of dollars is about as fraudulent as the ads on your favorite website saying there's a hot woman 0.8 miles away that wants to sleep with you. In 7 days of being shadowed by USA Today Sports in October and November, Gorodetsky wagered well over $1 million on a range of sporting events and tens of thousands of dollars more on blackjack and roulette. He bets upwards of $350,000 on NFL Sundays, $100,000 on MLB games, and tens of thousands of dollars on the NBA, WNBA, tennis, soccer, and high school sports. In just a minute, you'll get to find out where his large bankroll was coming from, and it wasn't from his success. Also, as I've told you in other videos, when the casino is allowing you to bet $100,000 a game, they know they have the edge on you. Don't ever give your money to someone who's betting 100 grand on games. With momentum building to legalize sports gambling outside of Nevada, Gorodetsky and his inner circle think he could emerge as America's leading sports bettor and sell his advice to gamblers across the country. One thing you'll notice about these fraudsters is they always turn to selling their advice as sports betting consultants once they develop their brand. If you aren't a good handicapper, you turn to being a tout. Sporting his gambler cap, he also wore a red and white Louis Vuitton hoodie, black Louis Vuitton high tops, and a Hublot watch that warranted a price check. The hoodie cost $6,000 and the high tops ran $2,500, according to Gorodetsky, who said he was so drunk when he bought the watch he couldn't remember the price. Real gamblers who have an edge don't want to be spotted walking in a casino because they risk being found out. You don't want attention when you're legit, which is ironic because all of the fraudsters claiming to be the world's best sports bettors walk into a casino like they're walking the red carpet for their new movie premiere. If I were rating their acting performance trying to convince me that they're legitimate sports bettors, I would give them 2 thumbs down. Reminiscent of Entourage, the HBO comedy series, Gorodetsky rolls with a colorful crew that includes a financial manager, a pickup artist, and an enforcer. It's not just gambling, he said, it's a lifestyle. A sports betting fraudster, a financial manager, a pickup artist, and an enforcer walking through a casino. I feel like this is the start of an awesome Bill Burr joke. If you guys haven't caught on by now, anyone promoting lifestyle as the reason to get into sports gambling is trying to sell you on their fraudulent brand. Winning at sports betting requires a deep concentration on line movement and the slightest of margins, not on Gucci purses and Miss Utah joining you at Lakers games. Now that you have a little background on this clown, let's see how he really was able to bet $100,000 on sporting events. I was able to find the lawsuit that declared Rob guilty on multiple counts of being a fraudster, loser, and an absolute joke. Beginning in or around February 2014 and continuing through in or around April 2018. What's sad is fraudsters like Rob can usually run their schemes for years without being detected. This lawsuit wasn't filed until January 2020, I believe. Here's a guy who was flaunting all over social media for years and had a USA Today article written about him while he was defrauding someone out of millions privately. Quick side note, I hope everyone here realizes that news publications are in the business of getting clicks, not verifying legitimacy. They love when someone like Rob turns out to be a fraud because everyone runs to read this article. Fake gurus use this to their advantage because they can claim news publications are writing about them, but it's all from a paid marketing source that places their articles. Where did the money come from? It was part of the scheme that defendant Gorodetsky fraudulently fraudulently obtained more than $9.6 million from individual A through materially false statements about, among other things, the intended use of the money invested, the actual returns on the money individual A invested with Gorodetsky, and individual A's account balance. How in the world did he convince someone to invest $9.6 million into a sports gambling scheme? This is what makes the story interesting. It was further part of the scheme that between approximately February and June 2014, defendant Gorodetsky fraudulently obtained approximately $953,000 from individual A for the purported purpose of investing individual A's funds in the stock market and converted approximately $737,388 for his own personal use. Isn't it crazy that the biggest fraudsters are able to raise so much money for their schemes? Think about how hard it would be to raise $1 million for you to invest in the stock market and sports betting. It was further part of the scheme that defendant Gorodetsky falsely represented that he would pool individual A's investment with substantial funds Gorodetsky claimed to own, that the pooled funds would be used to make investments in the stock market and to place wagers on specific sporting events, and that they would share the profits and losses on a pro rata basis. I'm really surprised that individual A didn't ask for proof from Gorodetsky for what he claimed to have. Maybe this guy had $30 million in cash sitting around and just handed this loser $1 million, but I think that's as likely as Rob going on a winning streak. How can you be successful enough to have $1 million in cash, but also dumb enough to give Rob money for sports gambling? It was further part of the scheme that in approximately July 2014, defendant Gorodetsky falsely represented to individual A that his stock trading investment of $953,000 had increased to approximately $2 million based on Gorodetsky's favorable trading activity. Rob takes the guy's money, siphoned off most of it for his social media lifestyle, then tells the guy his money has doubled because of Rob's secret trading techniques. Rob should have just teamed up with an internet marketer and sold a scammy trading signals course. All of the fake gurus aren't ending up in jail, but Rob did. Between approximately July 2014 and November 2017, defendant Gorodetsky falsely represented to individual A that his investment was growing and that more funds were needed to increase individual A's investment. Basically, Rob was spending too much money to uphold his Vegas lifestyle full of nightlife, flashy clothes, exotic sports cars, and betting $100K on games. He needed his lifestyle sugar daddy to send some more money. Gorodetsky's false representations included false statements regarding the balance in individual A's account, the amount and kind of wagers made by Gorodetsky, the amount of profits and losses related to specific wagers, and use of the proceeds. What these fraudsters rely on is your trust. I don't know how individual A didn't have some type of checks and balances with Rob. I couldn't give someone money unless I had full access to accounts and profit and loss statements. Rob claimed to be investing in the stock market. I would need it written in contract that I have access to those accounts. I also would never give someone money to bet on sports. You're better off throwing money at a crypto altcoin. If someone like Rob really could win at sports betting, he wouldn't need anyone's money. Between approximately July 2014 and November 2017, defendant Gorodetsky fraudulently obtained approximately $8.74 million in additional investment funds from individual A for the purported purpose of wagering on specific sporting events. $8.74 million. This guy must be stupid rich, meaning he's rich and stupid. Does he not know that sports betting kings like Rob are all frauds? Imagine giving someone almost $9 million to go bet on sports. I can't even believe it. Gorodetsky used the bulk of individual A's $8.74 million investment for purposes unrelated to wagering on specific sporting events, including his conversion of more than $2.2 million of individual A's funds to pay for living, travel, and entertainment expenses, as well as to acquire assets including luxury automobiles and jewelry. Rob borrowed almost $9 million and immediately took over $2 million to pay for his lifestyle. It's mind-blowing to me how obsessed these fake gurus are at receiving validation from social media. I mean, really think about how much you need people's approval to feel good about yourself if you're taking someone's money and using over $2 million to pay for your lifestyle. I don't understand how you could possibly enjoy the lifestyle if you knew it was all from stolen funds. My guess is these fraudsters have wiring in their brain much different from you and I, and don't feel any remorse for what they're doing. Gorodetsky regularly sent false account statements and balances to individual A for the purpose of maintaining and increasing the amount of funds fraudulently obtained from individual A. I'll never be able to understand how fraudsters move. Word around town is that individual A is Rob's girlfriend's dad. If that's true, he basically found a lifestyle sugar daddy and took millions from him. Imagine looking someone in the eye and telling them you'll invest their money, knowing you're just taking it so you can look cool on Instagram. Here's probably the funniest part of this lawsuit. This section describes Rob as filing tax returns in 2016 showing only $10,520 of income while he robbed a guy blind for millions. The purpose of this video is to remind you that there are a lot of fraudsters out there who are living a life of luxury, not from earning the money, but from taking it from someone else. This clown posted photos with celebrities to show how legitimate he was, even though the pictures turned out to be just a pic between a fan and a famous celebrity. The problem with scammers and fraudsters is there's never a stopping point. They just go until an authority jumps in to stop them. Here's a lawsuit from 2013 between Rob and people he knew in New York. He basically took $95,000 from these two and did with it whatever he wanted. On Instagram, Gorodetsky has 170,000 followers, with more than 100 paying up to $500 a month for access to his pics, Gorodetsky said. Here's a guy scamming someone he knows for nearly $10 million, and then he began charging people who follow him $500 a month for access to his losing pics. He was making 50 grand per month scamming his Instagram followers on the side of the scam he was pulling with Individual A.
There's so much demand for this that I can probably, if it becomes big enough, I can make as much money as I am betting by giving advice.
This is what all of these fraud sports gamblers do. They turn to selling their picks, and somehow suckers will always buy them.
So the difference with the pick guys and me, right? So why would you choose me over this guy, right? The proof. People want to see, oh, Rob bet 80,000 in this game, it won. Rob bet 100,000 in this game, it won. They're like, wow, that's real. So we're showing the lifestyle. We're showing, you know, what basically one day is for me. And that's what people really, and that's how I gained kind of following, right? And that's why people basically want to jump in.
These guys sell a lifestyle, and suckers buy the picks to feel a part of the lifestyle and the fake winning. There's no proof, never has been with any of these guys. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Anyone who touts picks can set up a Google sheet with timestamps showing their picks before and after games and calculate their winning percentage and earnings. Whoever can actually make money betting sports would take 100% of the market share. The market for picks is huge. Even idiots like Rob could convince 100 people to pay $500 a month. What would you make if you had actual proof that you had an edge and could show that you wouldn't get banned from the books for winning? Funny enough, Vegas Dave spotted the Rob scam before it became public. I know for a fact Rob is losing his ass. If someone is born into $10 million, anybody can purchase $200,000 tickets. It doesn't mean you're good. If you have money, or you're laundering money, or you're a drug dealer, or your parents gave you $1 billion, that doesn't mean you're a good or bad handicapper. That just means you have access to funds. Fezzik and others speculate Gorodetsky could simply be lucky, and eventually that luck will run out. Tran, the casino host, said, "He's not cheating, we can't find anything. He's just lucky. He's like Rain Man." That did not sit well with Gorodetsky, who said, "If I've been here for 4 expletive years, it can't be luck, right?" All these fraudsters live a fun life for a couple of years, but the truth will always come out eventually. Rob was able to look cool on Instagram for a couple of years, but now he's going to prison for a couple of years and will hopefully no longer have access to people's money for sports betting when he leaves.
Everybody does it, okay? I don't care what you're saying. Everybody's betting.
I'm shocked that Rob only got 28 months in prison for the crimes he committed. 28 months is not a long time for a thief that scammed someone out of nearly $10 million. There's people serving that time for getting caught with a joint, and this clown is going to scam people when he gets out too. Moral of the story, when you have $10 million to invest, don't give it to some guy claiming to be a sports betting king. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.